We've been talking about outer space in the last classes that you came to, and we're going to continue that a little bit. We're going to be doing,
Uh,
what is this?
a sun.
And what is this?
It looks like Earth.
It is Earth. I'm going to get a little in here.
The green's so hard to see.
I know. There is no green on it. It's just blue. So it's extra hard. All right. Do you see this little red pin here? This is going to be us on. What happens is we have no light to ourselves, right? We get our light from the sun. So here's my sun shining. Do you see how this half of the earth is completely bright? Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's daytime, right? When we're facing the sun, we have daytime. And we rotate around on our axis. So look, the sun is setting, it's getting dark, and now I can't see anything at all. The other side of the earth has sun, but we don't. So we have nighttime. And then we're going to continue around and oh, the sun is rising. And here we have daytime again. So this happens every single day. We rotate on our axis every single day. Okay. And then as that's happening, we are also revolving around the earth. So we are going around, or I'm sorry, we're going around the sun. We are revolving around the sun. And this causes our seasons. And this takes an entire year to get all the way around. We have a tilt. So when we tilt towards the sun, we see more sunlight and it's warmer. So what season is that?
Summer.
And when we tilt away from the sun, we have less sunlight. We don't have as much heat, so it's winter. So what?
Is since there's less sun coming to the planet, is that when it's winter?
Mm-hmm. And we still have sunlight, right? We can look outside right now.
Yeah.
But it's not, we're tilted away from it, so it's not as warm. So today we're going to talk about something that revolves around the earth. You know what that is? What goes around the earth?
The sun.
We go around the sun, but we have a satellite and it's the moon. And the moon revolves around the earth. So we're going to be talking about the moon today. I'm going to show you a video with some cool pictures of National Geographic, and it shows how the moon was formed. Okay, like where did the moon come from? So hold on 1 second.
Is it a great star that invents planets?
I don't know. You're going to have to watch and find out. So I'll be right back with you. I'm going to share my screen and I'll be back in a minute.
Because I watched the Helpful Bots, and they said the planets formed from a big star.
All right, here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Over 150 moons orbit the solar system's planets. And one of those moons calls Earth home. The moon was formed about 4.5 billion years ago when, according to one theory, the Earth slammed into another early planet. Debris from this collision began to orbit Earth and accumulated, forming today's moon. The moon is the 5th largest natural satellite in the solar system, with a diameter just under the width of China. It's composed of an iron-rich core, plus a mantle and crust containing minerals made of magnesium, oxygen, and silicon. The moon's surface was once geologically active and covered in an ocean of magma. But today, apart from traces of water ice, the surface is completely covered in dust and rocky debris. Countless craters dot the moon's surface, each formed by objects such as meteoroids, comets, and asteroids crashing onto the moon. The largest crater, the South Pole Aitken Basin, spans across a quarter of the moon's surface and is nearly deep enough to fit Mount Everest inside. The moon orbits our planet at an average distance of 30 Earths. It rotates at the same rate that it revolves. So as it revolves around our planet, The same side of the moon faces the Earth at all times. From the Earth's surface, we can observe distinct, traditionally recognized stages of the moon's illumination. Called lunar phases, they have been observed for thousands of years and even provided the basis for the earliest calendars. For most of human history, the moon could only be studied from afar. But on July 20th, 1969, humans were able to close that distance with the American spaceflight mission Apollo 11.
That's one small step for man.
But right here it says working it over.
It placed humans on the moon for the very first time, bringing our understanding of Earth's only natural satellite one step closer.
All right, so some cool pictures and images there. So they're saying that the moon was formed because Earth collided with another early planet. So that Earth, or
What's
the,
that collided mean?
huh?
What's collided mean?
Crashed into each other.
Why?
Earth crashed in 4.5 billion years ago, crashed into another planet that doesn't exist anymore, and the moon kind of broke off and it started an orbit around the Earth. So it is still there today, and we see it at nighttime, and we can even see it during the day sometimes. So we're going to look at some moon phases today. And what happens is the moon is always in an orbit going around the Earth, right? And we are going around the sun and we're spinning. It's this beautiful little dance in the sky. But we see the moon in different phases. It looks different every night you look in the sky, right? And this is why. When the sun is shining, well, first of all, we never see the backside of the moon. We see the exact same side of the moon all the time. It never changes. We have never seen the back because it rotates at the same rate that it revolves. So we only see what is facing us. Okay. So what happens is the sun is shining on the moon. When the moon is between the sun and the Earth, here we are. This side, the back side of the moon, is completely lit. But look at the front side, what we're seeing. You see that?
Dark.
Completely dark.
Mhm.
So we don't see anything at all. When the moon is between us and the sun, it's a new moon. It's completely dark in the sky. You look for the moon and there is none. But then it's going to start moving. And as it goes, watch how the light changes. We're going to see a tiny bit, and then we're going to see half of the moon. And then it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And when it's on the other side of the Earth, the entire thing is lit up for us to see. Because the sun is shining, and so we can see it. And then it's going to start disappearing again until we don't see anything at all. Okay, so it's going to go around and it's going to start at nothing, get bigger, 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 bigger till it's a full moon and we can see the whole thing. And then it's going to start disappearing again. Okay, I'm going to show you one more little video because it's a little bit better visuals of the cycle or the moon phases than I can show you in my not quite dark dining room. And then we are going to be making our own moon phases today. Okay. So hold on. I'm going to show you one more little video. Maybe. If I can find it.
That was the Grinch.
It was.
We took a picture of the Grinch and he stole our Christmas. Then we went to Disney World.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. We took a picture with them and he didn't like the picture, I'm guessing, so he stole our Christmas. Then there was clues left behind. Then we went to Disney World.
That's
And I
pretty.
think the whole airport heard us.
Oh my goodness. I bet that was a lot of fun. All right, here we go.
If If you ever look up at the moon in the night sky, say before you go to bed, you've probably noticed that as the days and weeks go by, the moon looks like it's changing shape. Some nights, it's a little sliver, and some nights, a few weeks later, it's a big bright circle. Well, the moon doesn't actually change shape, but our view of it does. Why? Well, the moon, just like the Earth, has a day side and a night side. A part that's facing the sun and a part that's not. So when we see a little sliver of bright moon, we're seeing a little part of the moon that's facing the sun, while the rest of the side that's facing us is dark. And the size and the shape of that sliver of lit up moon changes because the moon orbits or moves around Earth. It takes the moon about 1 month to make one full orbit around the Earth. And as it moves around our planet, the daytime side of the moon, the side that's lit up from the sun, is facing in different directions as we see it from Earth. This means that every night we get a slightly different view of the moon. And during its month-long trip in orbit around the Earth, the bright part of the moon appears to grow and then shrink from right to left. The different shapes that we see of the lit up part of the moon are called phases. And there are 8 phases of the moon. The first phase is the new moon. This is when the nighttime side of the moon, the side that's facing away from the sun, is what we can see from Earth. The moon is still up there, but because it's the dark side that's facing us, we can't see it during the new moon phase. The next phase is called the crescent phase. This is when the moon looks like a little sliver, kind of like the tip of your fingernail. After the crescent comes the quarter moon. This is when the moon looks like a half circle. And the next phase is called gibbous. A gibbous moon is when it's missing just a little sliver of light and it's almost full. And that's what's next. The moon is at its brightest at the full moon. That's when the fully lit up side of the moon is facing us, so we see a big bright circle. But we're only halfway through our phases. After the full moon, the lit up part of the moon appears to shrink. And just like how it grew from right to left, the sunny side of the moon will shrink from right to left too. So after the moon is full, it starts to shrink back down to a gibbous moon. But this time, you'll notice that the left side is shining bright instead of the right. After the gibbous phase, the moon will look like half a circle when it reaches the quarter moon phase again. And then after a few days, it shrinks down to a little sliver again, the second crescent moon. After that, the tiny sliver shrinks all the way down until the lit up side of the moon can't be seen at all. Now the moon is a new moon again. It's the same old moon, but it's gone through a month-long cycle of phases, and it's ready to start all over. Like I said, it takes a month for the moon to go through all 8 phases. In fact, our word month comes from the word moon because it takes a month for the moon to go from new moon through all of its phases and back to the new moon again. So tonight, before you go to bed, take a look out the window. If the sky is clear, can you see the moon? If you can't, what phase is it in? Is it the bright part of the right side or the left side? As the days go by, keep an eye on it and watch how the moon looks like it's changing shape. You can even make drawings to keep track of how it changes from day to day. Now you know that the moon doesn't really change shape. We just see different amounts of the sunny side of the moon as it makes its monthly trip around the Earth. Thanks for joining us today. We love getting
All right, so she was able to show some better pictures than I had. All right, we are going to be making our own phases. So I'm going to have you go grab, if you can, a piece of paper, pencil, and some crayons.
A plain one or striped?
A plain white would be better, but if you have lined paper, that's fine too. We're going to draw.
Work.
I'm in the office anyway.
Okay.
Does color pencils work?
Yep, that works fine.
Okay.
Nothing to color with, pencil and paper.
I think she's a little bit wrong because look at the order I have in my book.
Ooh, you have day by day. We're going to talk about just the basic ones.
But it takes a little bit more than just a slither.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. I'm in the office, so I won't actually leave it. So I'm going to go look for paper right here.
You guys up a little.
I'm back.
All right. Nice. All right, when you have your paper, I want you to turn it so it's long ways so we can have some more room. So turn it sideways. And I'm going to use a black marker so you can see it better. This will be my pencil, okay? All right. Natalie, you good?
I have black paper.
You can do that if you've got, yeah, that should work probably if you've got crayons.
Oh, I have crayons right here.
All right, what we're gonna do first is we're gonna, on the side of the paper, we're going to draw part of the sun. So I'm gonna draw a partial half circle, and we'll color this in a second. And in the center, I'm going to draw a circle to represent the earth. Now don't make it too big because we're gonna be drawing around it. We know that the earth is made up of water and land, so I'm gonna draw a couple little continents here. And then I'll give you a second to color in your earth blue and green and your sun yellow.
No. I got better crayons. And my crayons is there you go. I had white paper, but I'm out of it.
That's okay.
I have some pencils here too. I'm at my art box.
Very nice. All right, I'll bring you in closer so you can see it better.
Okay.
Putting blue over the green so it kind of looks darker.
Cool.
It kind of looks better.
All right, if you haven't finished coloring, that's okay. You can finish it up as you have time. We're going to make 4 circles, okay? These are going to represent the moon phases. So what we're gonna do is on top of the earth, I'm gonna make a circle. Below the earth, I'm gonna make a circle. On the right side between the earth and the sun, and on the left side of the earth.
Is that our moons?
Those are gonna be 4 of our moon phases.
Okay, I'll use white for that, and I have only crayons. Right. Here you go.
Now, when we do our moons, we're gonna use black for what you cannot see in the sky and yellow for what you can see, but we know that the moon is actually more of a white grayish color when we look in the sky, but we're gonna use yellow just to, so we can see it. Natalie, if you wanna use white because you have black paper, that might make sense.
I have white right here. That's white.
Very good. But when we color them in. Okay. So I'm gonna put you guys down again. And I'm gonna grab my flashlight. Remember, if we look over at our sun, and this is us on Earth, if we are looking at the moon that's between the sun and the Earth, the back part of the moon that we cannot see will be lit up. The part that we can see will be completely dark. This is the first phase called the new moon, and we cannot see it. So the moon between the Earth and the sun, I want you to color black because we can't see any part of it. Okay. And we're gonna label this as a new moon. This is the first moon in our moon cycle, or the phases. Okay. Now, when the moon is on the other side of the earth, when the sun is shining, and that's up there, the sun is going to be shining completely on that moon. So we're going to see the entire thing. So when it's on the far side of the earth, we have a complete full moon. So let's color this one yellow.
I can color mine white.
You can color it white.
Like a real moon.
That's right. Okay, and this is called a full moon. Okay.
That's not moon. Right, here we go.
Now there's got to be a way for this moon to go from a new moon where we see nothing until we see all of it. So this up here is going to be a quarter moon. And that's going to be when we see half of the moon. So you can go ahead and split that moon down the center. And the part that is facing the sun is going to be lit up. So we're going to color that half yellow or white, Natalie. And the other half will be black because we can't see it. We can only see half of the moon at this point.
I'm leaving mine side black so I don't have to color it.
Okay. And this is called the first quarter moon. I'm going to write a 1 with an ST, first quarter.
You slow down. I haven't wrote any of them.
Yep.
First. Let's see. My white. Where did I put my white? Where's my white? Oh, here it is. Here you go. First quarter.
All right, are we good to move on or does anybody need more time? Okay, so we went from nothing to half of a moon, it's growing, to a full moon. Now it's got to shrink again to get back to a new moon. So we're going to cut it in half again, the one on the bottom, or to the side of the earth. But we colored the right side yellow up here. We're going to color the right side black because we're only going to see the left side. And where we colored black on top, now we're going to color yellow. Okay, now we know that there are 4 quarters and $1. When we have report cards, we get 4 report cards. We have 4 quarters. On our clock, we have quarter hours. So this is going to be our first quarter, second quarter. This will be our third quarter moon. And it's also called the last quarter. So you can write third or last. You can pick quarter.
I would say last quarter.
Okay.
I'm just putting quarter.
Okay, so we started with our new moon with nothing. We have our first quarter where we see half of it. We see the whole thing. And now it's disappearing. We see the other half. And now it's gone with a new moon again. So these are our 4 basic phases. But we're going to add in the 4, I think they're the cooler looking moon phases. So between the new moon and the first quarter, draw another circle. Between the first quarter and the full moon, draw another circle. If you drew your moons real big, you can make them kind of these smaller. Between your full moon and your third quarter, and between your third quarter and your new moon. Okay. So when we start back at that new moon, before we get half of it lit, we're only going to have a tiny bit, and that's called a crescent moon. So for this moon between the new and the first quarter, I want you to draw a backwards C. And that tiny sliver is going to be colored yellow. That's what you're going to see. And the rest of it will be dark. And this is called a crescent moon.
I can't see.
What can you see? The word? Is that better?
Here we go. Someone, I was seeing someone else.
Oh. All right. So we went from nothing to a tiny little sliver to half of the moon, and now it's going to grow even bigger before it gets to a full moon. So for this one, we're going to, instead of a backward C, we're going to make a regular C. But this time, the big part is going to be yellow. That's what we're going to see. That will be lit up in the sky. And the little sliver will be black. Because we're seeing almost the whole thing, just not quite. Sorry. Wiggle them all over. All right, and this is called a gibbous moon. I-B-B-O-U. Okay, we started with our new moon. We have a tiny bit of light with a crescent moon. You see half of it in the first quarter. It's getting bigger with the gibbous, and then we have a full moon. But now it needs to start shrinking again. So it's going to start disappearing a little bit at a time. So for this next one, we are going to do a backwards C again. But it's another gibbous moon. So the big part will be yellow. And the little part will be black.
Really?
Okay. And this is again a gibbous moon.
I can't see anything because of the window. It's so bright. Can't see anything. Well, unhook it and see. Unhook it from the chart.
All right. So here we go. We got our full moon. And then it's disappearing into a gibbous. And then it's getting smaller into the third quarter. And finally, it's going to end with another crescent moon because it's disappearing. So for this one, we're going to do a backward C again. And the little part will be yellow. And the big part will be black. Okay, and this is going to be a crescent again. So those are the phases of the moon. Start with nothing and it gets bigger as a crescent. The first quarter, the gibbous, full moon, and then it starts disappearing to a gibbous again, another quarter moon, and then a crescent until it gets back to the new moon. Now, if you notice, if the light is on the right side of the moon, it's going to be growing and getting bigger to a full moon. If the light is on the left side, you know it's going to be shrinking and going back to a new moon. So you can make predictions as to what's going to happen. When it's growing, these are called waxing, with a waxing crescent and a waxing gibbous. And when it's disappearing, it's called waning, a waning gibbous and a waning crescent. Okay, so those are the phases of the moon. You can take that outside with you or look out your window at night and try to see which phase it is, what it's called. You can also make predictions as to what's going to happen next. So that's kind of fun. Does anybody like Oreos?
What?
Oreos?
Oh, I do.
They make really fun moons. You can take your Oreos and open them up, and you've got the black part, which you can't see, and then you can move your frosting so that you can see a moon phase. Another fun thing you can do. Can you guys hold up your moon phases so I can see them? That looks
It's called
great.
the Earth and the Sun.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I also do this.
Cool. Nice. All right. Awesome job. Hello again. This is all I've got for today, but if you come back next week, we're going to talk about some explorers who have gone to the moon and some things that they have found out about the moon. And we might even be able to learn a little bit about some animals who have been down there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Awesome job today, guys. Thank you so much for coming.